Hello, my dear friends. Today it is a special day because we will run through this checklist. This checklist it's really important for the oil tankers, and also I will share some things that is really great to know. First of all, before we start, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and also if you like the video, like it or share it with the people that you believe that will be benefit from that. One thing to talk about additionally, it is the bunkering optimization and sludge optimization project, which I have specifically created, and it has all that benefits that you see here on this monitor. But our today topic is the safety checklist. That is a really great booklet. You can see it is from Port of Broad Jordan. As I have seen here, it is Sweden, and I hope most of the terminals have this great booklet for the safety checklist. It's nice. It is a great visual when you see some things which is done so much, let's say, pretty simple and have all the necessary information that is required for the vessel to accomplish a safe discharge or safe loading. That is really, really important. And also we will run from all the things, what to look, what to check. Also, additional thing that is also very important is the terminal booklet. I have seen many terminal booklets. I have seen the real value of them, and I can basically say that a terminal booklet or the safety checklist can unlock a lot of potential for your terminal if you know all the let's say limits of the terminal and what the terminal can provide you during your stay. Because why it's so much important? It is important because in the event of something is happened, let's say an emergency, a different operation, you know who to approach and how to do your job easily. So let's stay today the safety checklist for a product jetty. Similar it is for the crude jetty. Similar instructions can be also for the chemical jetty as well. So you can see that most of this area where the crude oil tankers discharge are natural beauty areas. Also I have a, let's say, experience in Italy, Trieste, which is the north part of Italy, north, let's say, east part, yes, of Italy, which is also natural beauty, like Brofjorden, and it is holiday amenity area, and there are wildlife sanctuaries in near vicinity. So that is one thing that you have always in mind. Okay. So an oil pollution is therefore extremely serious, and local magistrates courts deal with offenders very severely. The most frequent causes of pollution from oil tankers are, and it's very good to know from where is the most frequent causes. That's really great because it directly makes you aware of what to check for. As I know, the industry also changes. There's a lot of people, new people coming to the industry, and they do not know this risk because simply they have not faced such risks. They have not so much experience. That's why it's very, very important to know these things in order to prevent them. And yes, I know that experience needs a lot of time in order to build it. Leaking sea valves and overboard discharge valves. See that these are closed and tight sealed before commencing discharge or of cargo or oil ballast and before loading. Before opening sea valves to commence ballast, ensure that no oil can run out. Overflow of cargo, bunkers or ballast. Never leave loading tanks unattended. When topping off, ensure that valves of the next tank to be filled are cracked open in a good time. So all the things you test in advance. You do not wait until, let's say, the last moment. When topping off the final tank, make sure that the loading rate is eased to the shore personnel and standing by to shut off. Never rely on a shore stop. You will not be absolved from blame if your cargo or bunkers overflow. Do not bring ballast up to tight oilages. Always ensure that the valves of shut-off tank are not letting by inspecting the oilage of shut-off tank shortly after valves has been closed. Make sure when discharging that drop valves has been left open, allowing cargo to circulate and overflow from a tank. Scupper plugs, oil pollution of the harbor can often be avoided if scupper plugs are tight and retain any spilled oil on board. Ensure that oil scupper plugs are in place and tight sealed before commencing operations. Allow surplus rainwater to be drained off from time to time, but make sure that scuppers are tightly plugged immediately afterwards. Yes, because in these areas you have a lot of rain falls, that's why it's really a good thing to maintain. If, as on many ships, bunker tank hatches are on poop deck level, poop deck scupper plugs must be plugged. About engine room bilges. Bilge water must not be pumped overboard through your vessel stay in port. That is, yes, for sure. The chief engineer must impress this upon his staff and should seal the engine room bilge overboard discharge in the closed position to avoid unauthorized pumping. I remember always we seal all the overboard valves and we stop the sewage, we shut the sewage, we inspect all the overboard valves, we document them and also the date of the seal. Normally we seal the valves 1-2 days before arrival to the port. Be on your guard against oil pollution. Make sure that you have the cooperation of your deck and engine room officers. You are legally responsible for reporting oil pollution to harbor authority. Call the attention of shore personnel to any spillage of oil into the harbor immediately in order that cleaning operations may start without delay. It is strictly forbidden to use any type of dispersing agent. Post this notice in imminent position on board. Yes, that is really important because the harbor authorities and the port authorities know exactly how they will act in the event of oil pollution because they're making training, they're making also the design of how they will fight each and individual let's say oil pollution, and it's very important also for harbor to make frequent and also to make a different level of oil spills, because in order to be prepared for, let's say, a huge event, you have to make some trials. You have to make also trials like training as well to see evaluate different quantities, different products as well, if there is transfers of products. But if mainly, let's say, it's crude oil, just loading one grade of crude oil, the MSDS, it is available, and basis on that MSDS actions will be taken how to handle this oil. Also a very nice instruction. You can see that in the red here we have in case of fire, accident and illness. Okay, it's very clear described with these fantastic images of the terminal. So let's see in the event of fire how we should respond. Instructions in case of fire. Do not hesitate to raise the alarm. Ship's fire alarm when alongside harbor jetty. 3 or more blasts of the ship's whistle, each blast of not less than 10 seconds duration, supplemented by continuous sounding of general alarm system. Harbor fire alarm. This is the harbor fire alarm signal. Is double short blast of the typhoon for 30 seconds. Action by the ship. So it's exactly says what action the vessel, the ship should take. It is, let's say for example, if the fire it is on the ship, raise the alarm, fight fire and prevent fire spreading. This is the most important thing. Inform the harbor, cease all cargo operations and then close all valves. Stand by to disconnect cargo arms, bring engines to standby and crew to standby, be ready to unberth. This is the reason, yes, for the disconnection of the cargo arms is to avoid spreading the fire to the terminal. So basically the vessel will be dragged in the safe location on the drifting or anchorage, and then it will be firefight with all the means that are available. But with this removal of the vessel from the jetty, it is reduce the spread of the fire to the terminal structure, and also damaging the structure, damaging the jetty as well. So we minimize the impact. Because yes, if the fire on the vessel it is basically you are not able to prevent it and it starts and escalates, the vessel will be burned for months, maybe 1 month, and then nothing will remain from the jetty. And the damage, yes, will be much, much higher. So, fire on the other ship or on jetty, you will be advised, if it's necessary, then instructed to cease all cargo operations and close all valves, stand by to disconnect cargo arms, bring the engines to standby mode and crew to stand by ready to unberth. This is happening to another vessel or to the jetty. So as you can see, there is more common things like in the event of fire, stop the cargo operation, close the valves, be ready to disconnect and the engine to be ready. Also prepare, yes, the fire team. The fire preparedness of the teams are really, really important. So that's why trainings should be really frequent in order to keep a good level of preparedness. Let's see the action from the shore. Fire on jetty. Raise alarm, cease all cargo operations and then close all valves. Firefight and prevent fire spreading. If required, stand by to disconnect cargo arms. Inform all ships. Harbor emergency procedure is immediately effective. One thing which is not clear here, if the fire it is on the manifold, how the manifold will be disconnected if there is missing a automatic disconnection system, because some of the cargo connections are manually connected and manually bolted. So there is a need of physical intervention for the disconnection. And also, when the vessel will stop pumping, there will be product also left on the cargo arm. So it is very important before the disconnection of the cargo arm to be drained in order to prevent, let's say, an accident from the shifting of the weight of the cargo arm. So there is some additional things which is not clearly described, okay, here. It's just say prepare for the disconnection, but how if the fire, let's say, it's on the jetty or on the manifold, how the vessel will be disconnected from that. So it is a scenario which is not that clear. I will try from my side to make a research of what is the possible things that can happen during this scenario and how the things can be improved, for sure. But yes, there can be different proposals. There can be different proposals from the expert from the industry, so we can sit together, yes, and see how we can prevent that. But also, very important thing to stand in is how often these accidents can happen, and what other accidents related to the terminal can happen. Okay. So the terminal has limited resources to assist the vessel if a fire occurs on board. So you can see that the terminal already tells you that the terminal has limited resources to assist vessel if a fire occurs on board. In some circumstances, the loading master may order vessels to leave the jetty. Harbor safety tugboats are standing by. And also, this is, yes, should be checked. Okay, these things should be checked. In these ports, okay, when you have low traffic, when you have availability of the tugboats, okay, maybe it can be happen, but if you have a busy port, like Port of Rotterdam or maybe other ports, let's say like Singapore, and you have an event and you do not have available tugboats to remove the vessel from the harbor, then you have a big problem. So also, there is a, in case of emergency, called safety tugboats. So we can see that there is dedicated, if there is dedicated, yes, safety tugboats, VHF channel and telephone. Also here, also this is very important to be checked, and I believe these checks also it's very important to be done while the vessel is starting its operations, to check the communication and the availability, not just checking when you have the emergency already, that is already gone the yes, the availability. So a lot of things, yes, everything is nice, it's written, but the written things from the reality, it is completely different when the things are happening. Let's see now the information about the accident and illness information. The terminal, assisted by the fire and safety department, has means to give assistance at illness and accident occurring on board the ship. The fire and safety department is trained in emergency treatment and will always call for an ambulance if necessary. When calling the terminal, it is important to inform about the type of injury, the illness the person has been stricken by, and if an ambulance is needed to be the place. Calling for the fire safety department should always be made via regular harbor radio jetty channel. When calling at harbor radio on the jetty channel, the ships will assist it in the quickest possible way. Alarm number 112 is the SOS number. It is the SOS direct alarm. The harbor and the fire and safety department will not be informed about the alarm if you call 112 yourself. If a ship calls 112 and warns about an accident on board the ship, the harbor office should be informed via jetty channel if the ambulance is on its way, to make it easier for the vehicle to reach the ship. Naturally, it is up to the ship staff to decide what kind of alarm they want to use. So also a schematic view of the vessel which shows all doors and air ventilate must be closed forwards, safety net must be placed rigged on the gangway, rudder must be stopped, engine must be ready to start, flame arrestors, scupper plugs, fire hoses, must be connected in each side of the manifold. So it shows a schematic view how the things should be, let's say, prepared in general for the discharge, just as a reminder. You can see also a quick guide for the communication. Most of the terminals are giving this type of communication, so you are able to understand, yes, how to operate and what messages you receive. Also, a very good explanation how the garbage is being separated, how it is being sorted. We know that all that countries in the north, they have a really good separating system. They invest in that. And also you can see here is a timesheet. The timesheets always should be the same always, and also write the exact time that the things happen, because changing the time in the advantage, let's say, of the surveyor, or let's say of somebody other official, does not make any sense, because then the company, basically your owners and the charters, are losing money from each and every delay. So if the vessel, let's say, was ready and the vessel was waiting for surveyor to come, let's say 3 to 4 hours, it is not the vessel's problems, it is the surveyor problems, and the problem of the surveying company that does not appear in the proper time. So the demurrage increasing 3 to 4 hours, and then companies are paying huge amount of monies for the demurrage. And yes, basically, if you lose from each vessel 3 hours, these hours plus together, and then you have less cargo transfer through the year. So you can see here we have the timesheet. It is let's say step by step, and you can use it also on your book wherever you feel, let's say, these timesheets on your let's say deck book, a logbook, or engine logbook. So you can see there is specific operations which says end of the sea passage, nor tendered, pilot on board, vessel anchored, anchor away, first line, all fast, gangway on board, tank inspection, logistics. So these things does not change. Basically, it's general. Then after the tank inspection and geologist, cargo arms connecting, loading, discharging commence, loading, discharging completing, tank inspection, cargo arms disconnected, documents on board, gangway of the ship, vessel sailed. Okay, so it is a timesheet. It is a timesheet, and you can see, you can feel the time, the date. If there is any delays here, you can write them here, but also this is very, very important. But it's better, yes, to highlight the delays here. It's much more better. Any kind of delays, delays from the shore, delays from the inspectors, any kind of delays that you are seeing, write it down here. Signatures, shore representative, ship representative, date and time. Your job on board, it is to be actually a representative of what you are seeing. So we have another page here which says the vapor recovery system will not operate properly if certain chemicals enter the system. We can therefore not accept ships that on the last voyages have chemical listed below in the cargo tanks. If not properly cleaned, has been carried out, small quantities is enough to disrupt the process. List of the chemicals that can cause problem in vapor recovery units. The list is not complete here. If the ship on the last 2 voyages had any chemicals close to the mentioned chemicals, or there is any uncertainty about this, the ship shall not connect the vapor recovery unit. So you can see here aldehyde, and you can see the common names, the IUPAC name, UN number, and keton. You can see all the numbers which, if the vessel previously had any of these chemicals, you should not use the vapor recovery system. If the cargo tanks are inerted, yes, ship name, date, PV valves, setting pressure, plus minus, last 2 cargoes loaded, ship's officer's signature here, and then this is on Swedish language. Let me see. Yes, this is okay. This is a recheck interval is maximum 2 hours. Every 2 hours, check interval checklist, and it says that there is a safe access between ship and shore. Why this is done? This is done because the conditions of the vessel are continuous change. So as the vessel discharge or loading, the vessel conditions are changed, the vessel height are changed. So it's very important to check again and again the ship access. The ship is securely moored. Also the mooring arrangement and the mooring, everything what is related with the mooring should be also checked, the tensions and all the things. The agreed ship-shore communication system is operative. To check, yes, the operation, it is available. Shore spill containment and pumps are correctly managed. The terminal's unused cargo and bunker connections are properly secured and blinded. Unused bunker, slope, freshwater hoses properly stored and locked. The agreed tank venting system will be used. Check of jetty pipelines. Check of oil spillage in sea. This is also a copy. Let me see, a copy. And now we have the ship shore safety checklist, which is from ISGOT. Safe access between ship shore, ship is safely moored, agreed ship shore communication, emergency towing. So it's exactly from the ISGOT. Scupper flags. It's exactly how it is. Also a copy. Here, inner gas system, so you can see it is separated by levels. Here it's for inner gas, here it is for the bulk liquid, general questions. Material data sheet of the cargo transfer has been exchanged where requested. So run from all these things in order to see what you have available and what in case that is required to provide. So you can see the maximum wind and swell criteria for operations has been agreed. Stop cargo operations at 25 meters per second, disconnect at 25 meters per second, and berth at 30 meters per second. That is really, really important. Inner gas system, terminal questions. We require 15 minutes notice before standby for stop, 5 minutes before loading, bunkering completed. So make yourself familiar with that. The ship is not allowed to pressurize the terminal's line system by air. Mobile phones shall not be used in the main deck areas and jetties or in any other places where petroleum gas may be encountered. Slope sludge shall only contain remains of refinery products with no contamination of MTBE or carbon black. All slope sludges has been generated on this ship. Will there be any repairs on board the ship while alongside? Engine room, yes, let's say special permit from port authority required. And also signed both for the ship and both for the terminal and jetty. Let's see the special regulations. Ship's cargo intake valves must not be closed without ensuring that pumping has stopped. Washing of the tanks is forbidden alongside without a written permission from the port. If the dimensions of the ship flanges are not the same size of the loading arms, the ship may by own work borrow suitable reducers from the terminal. It is prohibited to fool the jetty area with painting names of symbols. It is also prohibited to leave empty or full drums or other rubbish on the jetty. Cost of negligence of the above will be debited to the ship owners. Pilot shall be informed before departure, which we have the VHF number and the telephone number, and yes, order number. Let's see, emergency stop. Press the button for 3 seconds, let go of button, and emergency stop is released. Acknowledge of communication, ballast and slope handling. I hereby declare that ballast slope water to be discharged to the terminal has not been contaminated with detergent or other chemicals by the ship. Segregated ballast tanks must be checked in respect of presence of oil before the ballasting. During the ballasting at intermittent control area around the vessel must be carried out of a ship crew. Floodlights, if needed, may be used during nighttime. And the signature of officer in charge. This is the reason why you've been paid. Because you see, you make a lot of checks, you make a lot of signatures that you basically verify that everything is accordance with the regulations. Here we have a bunker checklist. So the port provided a specific form. Most of the companies also have, so it is grade, volume, stones, maximum rate, hours, maximum pressure, and then checks prior commence the bunkering. Okay. If you would like, let's say we can deep dive more on it. Notice of receipt of potable water, food, plastic, sludge, bilge, and other things. Also signed by, and this is interesting as information on the vessel, strong point, and ferry lead used for escort towing. Escort towing is compulsory for all product vessels from 20,000 deadweight in any loaded condition and for all crude oil vessels loaded and ballast condition. The port needs the information of safety working log for the vessels, strong point, and ferry leads used for escort towing. This information, yes, needs to be shared with the terminal for the escort. And also they say they give the minimum safe working load for tankers between 20,000 tons and 50,000 tons deadweight, and above, yes, 50,000 tons. So everything will be filled here, all the information, signed, and the copies will be delivered. It is very nice safety checklist, and yes, it gives you all the necessary information that is required. I believe this safety checklist is better to have it in advance, send it on the vessel with the terminal informational booklet, so the vessel will be ready to commence safely and know exactly, and prepare the people also and make some, let's say, familiarization with the location, which is really important, and make it more better the cooperation with the ship staff and the shore staff. Because the seamanships, it's not only the maintenance of the vessel, it's also the good communication with the terminal. Has a lot of different aspects related, which makes this profession so much great and diverse. Thank you very much. Don't forget to join the paid material, the memberships, which give you the advantage to the projects, to the crude oil washing, yes, specifically course, which I have specifically developed, and the book which is available on the Amazon, which will give you the advantage to know the crude oil washing operations and everything about the crude oil. I have accumulated all my 3 years knowledge in this book, and this book directly gives you the practical advantage over the theoretical. It is exactly how the things are working from the field to the people that are on board and use and transfer this product, crude oil. Since you have learned and mastering the crude oil washing and the crude oil and managing this product, you will learn all the products much easier. Thank you very much. From Amos Insight and Mihail, I wish you a great day ahead. Bye bye.